And so we're looking at rulemaking. And it's coming down the pike where a lot of rulemaking is happening. So when you were president, what actions would be taken to current rulemaking related to greenhouse gases?
Well, this is a very important issue. The overall regulatory environment that this president's created has been as hostile to Americans in rural areas, to American agriculture, to American manufacturers. It's a radical environmental agenda that is meant to shut down the economy of this country and transfer wealth overseas. Now you'd say, well, why would the president do that? I don't know. I don't know. But he is doing that. There's no question that the water regulations he just put forward are clearly going to drive up the cost and the misery index for farmers in America to have to deal with the regulatory landscape now. You look at what they did with CO2 regulations. The next thing they're doing now is ozone regulations, which I'm told by the National Association of Manufacturers will shut down any growth in manufacturing in this country, and the same will have the impact on processing. This is a serious assault on rural areas. Now, why would I say rural areas? Yes, all the things that deal with farming. But where does most of the manufacturing and processing occur? It doesn't occur on Wall Street. It doesn't occur in the Loop. It doesn't occur in Hollywood. It occurs in small town and rural America. And as we continue to drive manufacturing and processing out of this country, make it more difficult for our farmers to produce, we become less competitive and things get moved overseas. And so we have more imported products, including food products that'll come into this country, as well as manufactured products. So what the president has done is, again, a huge wealth shift, but who's most directly impacted? Rural America is directly impacted. Now, I hate to say this in the stark terms it is, but the president and his party doesn't get a lot of votes from rural America. And as a result of that, this is plain to the environmentalists, who I mentioned earlier, are very much uneducated about rural ways of life and how these environmental policies affect rural America. And so they're able to sell these in their cities where they get their votes. And if you look at America and look at a map of America and by county, you'd think that the Republicans, in fact, dominated America because 90% of the counties in America vote Republican. But it's these deep blue areas in these urban areas where Democrats get their votes that, again, are disconnected from the life out in small-town manufacturing America, small-town agriculture America. And the regulatory policies, I've said from day one, will suspend every one of those regulations. I will either get rid of them permanently or rewrite them if they're necessary to rewrite. There's one good thing about what the president's done on environmental regulation and the like, is he's done it without passing another bill. So there's nothing that a next president can't do to turn back that clock. But it's important not just that we do that, but we also then actually pass legislation that deals with a whole host of issues, whether it's the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act. All of these were passed decades ago when the ability to measure, when the ability to get to 80 parts per billion and all these things, it just wasn't possible. And it just gives the regulators way too much authority to be able to regulate. So there's a lot of work to do. I know it's a long answer, but it's a very important issue. The impact on rural America can't be overstated.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. And that's what this Rural Town Hall is all about. As much as we can do is connect those people in urban areas to what's going on in rural America, what they're facing, and how they're a big part of the economy in the country.
It is huge.